Be honest for a second. Have you ever looked at a cruise and thought, what do I even do on a ship all day? Do you feel excited when you think about cruising, or do you quietly wonder, what if I get bored after a day or two? If that's the image in your head, I totally get it. But here's the truth. People who get bored on cruises do not get bored because of the cruise itself. They get bored because a few common mistakes made before they even step on board. And depending on who you are, even one of these can be enough to ruin your entire experience. And this has nothing to do with the ship, has nothing to do with the food, or the lack of things to do. In this video, I'm going to show you how to think about cruising differently, so boredom doesn't even show up in the first place. And one of these points is the exact reason some people fall in love with cruising, while others swear they will never do it again. Let's go. I've been traveling nonstop since I was 16, so I figured, why not start a YouTube channel? Welcome to Jetlag John. If you're new here, my name is John Whaley. I have been cruising for decades, and I am also a travel advisor. I don't just book trips, I literally live this stuff. I cruise because I love the experience, and I help other people cruise because I have seen how one or two wrong choices can completely change how a trip feels. And this idea that cruises are boring, I hear it all the time. But once you understand why boredom happens on a cruise, it becomes incredibly easy to avoid. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to plan and think about cruising so it feels engaging, relaxing, and enjoyable from the very start. And the biggest mistake people make when planning a cruise happens before they ever think about the shows, the food, and the activities. Because if this one simple thing is off, boredom shows up really fast. If you're worried about getting bored on a cruise, this is the foundation. When people tell me they were bored on a cruise, they usually blame the ship, or the food, or the entertainment, or the lack thereof. But almost every time, that's not the real problem. The biggest problem is not having the right itinerary for you. This matters because the itinerary controls everything. It controls the pace of your days, the energy of your trip, and how your cruise actually feels. It's not the ship, it's not the activities, it's the itinerary. And here's what I see all the time. Someone books a cruise packed with sea days because they think relaxation automatically equals happiness. The first day feels great, the second day feels maybe a little bit slow, but by day 3, they are restless, unfocused, and completely bored out of their mind. On the flip side, someone books a cruise with a port every single day. At first, it feels exciting, but halfway through the sailing, they are exhausted, overwhelmed, and wishing they just had one day to breathe. Neither of these itineraries is bad, they're just mismatched. What you're really looking for is a balance between the two. Enough port days to create excitement and movement, but enough sea days to enjoy the ship and actually slow down. This is such an important detail that most people miss because that balance changes depending on your destination, the length of your cruise, and even the season in which you are cruising. For example, a Caribbean cruise thrives on ship energy and sea days. An Alaska cruise turns sea days into scenery days. You go to Alaska to enjoy the scenery. A Mediterranean itinerary with constant ports every single day can demand a lot of energy. There's no universal perfect itinerary. There's only the right itinerary for you. For me personally, I like itineraries with a sea day at the beginning and at the end. This gives me time to decompress after I've traveled, and getting on the ship during embarkation gives me time to learn the ship and finish the trip on a relaxed instead of a rushed note. On a 7 or 8 night sailing, this is usually my go-to. If it's longer, like a 10 or 12 night, I like adding a sea day in the middle of the itinerary. If it's shorter, maybe a sea day up front and a beach day at the very end. This is what works best for me. The point is not copying my preferences, but it's understanding yours. And once that itinerary is right, there is one more thing that determines whether a cruise feels exciting or boring. And it has nothing to do with the ship itself. And it has everything to do with what you plan once you're on board. Cruises don't get boring. Routine does. When every day starts to look the same, your brain literally checks out. You eat the same breakfast, you sit in the same lounger, you order the same drink. You even have the same evening plans, and by the middle of the cruise, the days stop feeling unique and exciting, but they start blending together. And that's when this vacation ruining phrase starts to set in. Have you ever said, "I'm kind of bored," while you were on vacation? It's not because there's nothing to do, but it's because you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. The solution is simple but powerful. Commit to doing one new thing every single day. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be uncomfortable. Maybe it's just a drink you've never ordered before, or a restaurant you go to that you would usually skip. Maybe it's a show you weren't planning on seeing, or a social event you would normally just walk right past. Cruise ships are designed for low-risk experimentation. If you don't like something, walk away. Nothing is ruined. And here's what I've noticed over the years. The people who say they are bored are often the ones saving everything for later. I'm gonna put that off. I wanna do that later. Later rarely comes. Set a pace that feels comfortable early on in your trip. That pace sets the tone for your entire sailing. One thing I try to do on every cruise is try a new food or dish I would normally not order while I'm on land. Here's a quick tip. Most cruise food is already included in your cruise fare. So if you don't like something, don't finish it. You're still paying the same price. Now, I'm not saying you go and order one of everything on the menu just so you can try it, but don't be afraid to try something new. For me, that dish was bone marrow. I had seen it on high-end restaurant menus on land, but never wanted to pay just to try it. On Virgin Voyages, bone marrow is one of the appetizers at the wake that is included in your cruise fare. I ordered it, I tried it, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. Would I order it again on land? Probably not. But now I know. That curiosity is gone. And if I was still hungry, I could always go grab pizza. Trying something new does not have to be a risk. It just has to break the pattern. And when you do that, the cruise stops feeling like a scheduled mess and starts feeling like an exciting new experience again. With that said, not all experiences on board come from what you do. Some of the most memorable ones come from who you share them with. Two people can be on the same ship, on the same itinerary, at the exact same time, and have completely different experiences. And this is because who you travel with changes how much choice you actually have on board. Cruising with family often comes with structure and compromise. Cruising with friends brings energy and maybe some spontaneity. Cruising solo offers total freedom, but only if you lean into it. None of these are bad, they're just different environments. And boredom shows up when expectations don't match the environment you are in. Maybe you want late nights and social energy, but the people you're traveling with want quiet evenings. Maybe you want flexibility, but the group wants everything planned. At that point, boredom is not about lack of options, it's about lack of choice. You start feeling boxed in, frustration creeps in, and I have personally learned this. I'm a pretty easygoing travel companion, but cruising with my parents is a very different cruising experience than it is with friends or if I'm cruising solo. One habit that has saved me every single time on a cruise, no matter who I am traveling with, is I carve out time to do one thing that I personally want to do. If that's hit the nightclub one night, I do it. If I want to go ziplining while everyone else is relaxing at the beach, I do it. That small decision restores choice, and choice kills boredom. This is not about ditching your travel companions, it's about protecting your own experience. Once you realize how much your environment and the people you are traveling with shape your entire cruise experience, your perspective starts to shift. You stop asking, why was this so boring? Because that's really not the right question to ask. The better question is this: what am I actually trying to get out of this trip? You see, before you step on board, one thing matters more than the ship, the cabin, or the destinations. And that is the goal of your vacation. Not what looks good from what you've seen on social media or what looks good from a cruise line's website, and not even what you think you should want out of your vacation. You need to ask yourself, what do you actually need right now? Is this a trip where you want to see and do everything? Or is this a trip where you want to slow down and unplug? Because what one person calls boring, another person could call perfect. A quiet sea day can feel empty or peaceful. A packed itinerary can feel exciting or overwhelming. Once the goal is clear, everything else gets easier. The itinerary makes sense, the ship choice makes sense, and daily decisions just feel lighter. I have had cruises where I have wanted to explore nonstop. I've also had cruises where all I wanted to do was sit in a beach chair and drink a margarita. These can be the same cruise lines, even the same ships, but they're very different goals based on what I needed right then. That's why I always say this. Cruising is not about ships or prices. It's about designing the experience you actually need. The ship, the itinerary, the budget, those are just tools to help guide you. My job isn't just to book cruises. It's to help translate how you want to feel into the right trip. And once that goal is clear, most decisions just fall into place. But there is one habit that can quietly undo even the best planned cruises. But before I get to that, I want to share what I do personally on every cruise and one small moment that changed how I think about cruising forever. Here are just a couple things that I do personally to make sure that I never get bored when I am on a cruise. The first thing that I do is I go where the people are. Whether that's the pool deck, a social bar, or an event with just a ton of energy, cruises make connection super easy if you put yourself in the flow. I have met people I am still friends with today on cruises from 10, even 12 years ago. And I've met people on cruises that I have never seen again in my life. We all share that one moment in time, and that is something that you can use to make a connection with people on your cruise. Even if you're an introvert, go out, say hi, start a small conversation. The worst case scenario is that you never see that person again. The best case scenario is you make a memory and a cruise buddy for the rest of your trip. The second thing that I do is I change my habits. So I like to bring a book every time I go on a cruise, even though I'm not a big reader in my everyday life. Sometimes I read my book, sometimes I don't. But if I ever start to think that I might be getting bored, I grab my book and go read. One of my other favorite activities is listening to an audiobook on a lounger in the sun. These are just a few of the things that I don't normally do in my everyday life that breaks me out of the "am I getting bored" mindset and that routine that we talked about earlier in this video. The third thing I do is stay active. I go to the gym, I go to the running track. Trust me, running is still not my favorite thing, but when you're running with ocean views, it definitely helps. And finally, I get off the ship. Even without an excursion book, I like to get out into the ports and wander, find local coffee shops, ice cream spots, and just explore a lot of the local neighborhoods. In fact, some of my most memorable cruise moments were unplanned and cost almost nothing. In fact, this one time when I was in Martinique, which is a very French Caribbean island, I had absolutely no plans. In fact, the plan was simple. I was gonna stay on board, relax, and do absolutely nothing. But as I was looking down at the port over the edge of my balcony, I thought, I could stay here or I could step off the ship and see what happens. So that's exactly what I did. I wandered a few streets away and found a small coffee shop. Literally nothing flashy, just this local coffee shop. And it was one of the best cups of coffee I have ever had in my entire life. And I will admit it, I am a bit of a coffee snob, so I'd like to think that it takes a really good cup of coffee to impress me. And I definitely was blown away by this experience. So, if you're ever in Martinique, go see Bernard at Bernard's Coffee and tell him that your friend Jetlag John says hi. It's within walking distance of the pier, and that is definitely a moment that I will never forget. It was a small choice with a little curiosity, but that's where the magic shows up. Now, back to that one habit that can quickly erase the entire experience. Here's the part that ruins a vacation faster than people realize. You bring everyday habits into a place designed to pull you out of those habits. It starts small. You slow down, there's a quiet moment, and that thought pops into your head. I'll just check my work email real quick. That is a trap, because one email becomes several emails, and several emails become meetings, and meetings pull you right back into work mode. That restless feeling people call boredom is actually your brain trying to relax. Checking work interrupts that reset. I know this because I have lived this several times. In fact, for years, I came home from vacation feeling like I never actually left. Not only does this ruin the experience, but it kills the value and the vibe of your entire cruise. If you do have to work, set boundaries, time blocks, one device, clear limits, protect that mental space. Because cruising isn't just about changing where you are, it's about changing how you feel. So when you do come back, you don't just return, you come back reset. Before we go, there's one more thing I want you to think about, because even when people choose the right ship, even when they pick the right itinerary, the right pace, and even come in with the right mindset, a lot of people still walk away feeling like something was off. Sometimes that's boredom, sometimes that's exhaustion, sometimes it's that quiet feeling of, I don't think I got the value that I truly expected out of this vacation. And that's what I want to help you avoid. So here's the real takeaway from everything we just covered. Cruise boredom isn't about the ship. It's not about there being nothing to do. It's all about alignment. Finding that right itinerary for your energy, the right people for how you like to travel, and the right expectations for what you actually need right now. When those things line up, cruising stops feeling hit or miss and starts feeling easy, natural, and even effortless. That's the difference between a cruise you simply take and a cruise you actually enjoy. And if you want help getting that alignment right, that's exactly what I do. I help people choose the cruise that fits how they really vacation. Not what looks good on the cruise line website, or not what social media tells you you should want out of a cruise. If you are planning a cruise and want it tailored to your lifestyle, your energy, and your goals, all of my contact information is listed below. And if you want to take this one step further, the next thing you should understand is how cruise pricing actually works. Because knowing how to cruise well and knowing how to cruise smart is what keeps people coming back again and again. So click this video right here if you want a breakdown on how to never overpay for an amazing cruise and the pricing mistakes that most people don't realize they're making until it's too late. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.